Well, good evening. Thanks for joining us. You're watching News on 2 with me. I'm in Carlos. Well, Malaysia recorded 41 cases today, taking the total number of infections in the country to 8,494. And in his daily COVID-19 media briefing, Health Director General Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah also said 54 cases have been discharged, which means 7,400 patients, or 87.1% of positive cases, have recovered from COVID-19 since the outbreak began. Well, Dr. Nur Hisham also announced no new deaths, which means the death toll remains at 121 cases, or 1.42% of the total number of cases.
Ingin dimaklumkan daripada 41 kes yang dilaporkan, 3 kes adalah kes import warga negara yang mendapat jangkitan di luar negara. Daripada 38 kes penularan di dalam negara, 32 kes adalah bukan warga negara, manakala 6 kes adalah di kalangan warga negara Malaysia.
Well, of the 6 Malaysians, Dr. Nur Hisham said one was an acute respiratory infection, or ARI, case at an old folks home in Kuala Selangor that was detected at the Tanjung Karang Hospital in Selangor. The other 5 were either detected from close contacts of COVID-19 patients or from Tahfiz schools screenings in Sabah, Selangor, Negeri Sembilan and Melaka. There are now 973 active cases being treated at the country's health facilities. Well, currently there are 4 patients treated at intensive care units, or ICUs, and none are on ventilator support.
Iaitu bersamaan dengan 87.
Well, the government has agreed to reopen preschools and kindergartens effective 1st July. And Senior Minister Dato' Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, during his daily press meet, however, said the reopening of all these institutions are subject to compliance with Recovery Movement Control Order, RMCO, Standard Operating Procedures, SOPs. According to him, the opening as well as the related SOPs were tabled by the Education Ministry, KPM, at the special ministerial meeting today.
Jumlah tadika yang terlibat iaitu prasekolah sebanyak 6,216, swasta 7,887, kemas 8,530 dan tadika perpaduan sebanyak 1,781.
However, the detailed SOP on the opening would be announced by KPM soon. Well, meanwhile, Dato' Sri Ismail Sabri said authorities have permitted mosques and suraus outside of COVID-19 red zones in the federal territories to restart their normal operations. And he said this was due to strict compliance with the SOPs observed at mosques already operating. However, Dato' Sri Ismail Sabri stressed that mosques and suraus are still limited to 1/3 of their maximum capacities to maintain safe social distancing, while those in COVID-19 hotspots must remain closed.
Dan hari ini kita bersetuju apabila melihat kepada pematuhan daripada jemaah, jawatankuasa masjid, pihak polis melaporkan tidak ada isu yang berkaitan dengan pematuhan. Oleh kerana pematuhan yang begitu baik, maka hari ini kita bersetuju untuk memberikan kebenaran kepada semua masjid dan surau di wilayah persekutuan untuk beroperasi seperti biasa, kecuali di zon-zon merah.
As for mosques and suraus in other states, the senior minister said they are still bound by the state government's rules. In related developments, now the senior minister also said the National Unity and Integration Department has held discussions with 16 religious bodies about resuming operations at non-Muslim houses of worship. Now, as such, he said today's meeting have agreed to allow 5,230 places of worship nationwide to operate at 1/3 of their usual capacity.
Mereka boleh beroperasi pada hari dan masa seperti biasa, seperti sebelum PKP diperkenalkan, dan kehadiran adalah 1/3 daripada jumlah sebenar tertakluk kepada keluasan rumah ibadat tersebut. Walau bagaimanapun, kebenaran yang kita berikan ini adalah secara umum, tetapi kerajaan negeri mesti memberikan kebenaran. Jadi bermaknanya ia masih lagi tertakluk kepada kebenaran kerajaan negeri, dan SOP yang ditetapkan juga boleh diubah suai mengikut kesesuaian negeri masing-masing.
However, the minister added that they must adhere to the SOPs like taking the congregation's temperature and also details through MySejahtera app or manually. Well, previously, only 174 non-Muslim houses of worship in green zones were allowed to operate, with only 30 people allowed on premises at a time. On another matter, Dato' Seri Ismail Sabri also advised Malaysians abroad to take the COVID-19 swab test 3 days before returning home. Well, he said it was due to the issue of a long queue for those returning from overseas to take the swab tests at the airport.
Ada kemungkinan jika tidak dapat diperolehi dalam masa 1 hari, mereka mungkin akan terpaksa dihantar ke pusat-pusat kuarantin di Institut Latihan Awam ataupun ILA bagi menunggu keputusan yang berkaitan mengenai swab test mereka. Oleh itu, sebagai pilihan pada rakyat kita yang ingin pulang untuk tidak menunggu lama di airport, jadi mereka dibenarkan, disarankan membuat saringan sebelum mereka pulang ke negara kita. Mereka perlu membuat swab test di luar negara 3 hari sebelum mereka pulang.
He said those who have taken the test overseas, however, need to get the certificate verifying that their test results were negative, abide by the SOP, download the MySejahtera app, wear the quarantine wristband, and undergo self-quarantine for 14 days at home. Well, barbershops and beauty salons' compliance of standard operating procedures, or SOPs, reached 100% in Pulau Pinang. However, few on the mainland are still found flouting it following the enforcement of the Recovery and Movement Control Order, RMCO. Well, statistics reveal that 1 out of 10 outlets did not adhere to the SOPs, with a statewide compliance rate standing at 90.72%. Now, State Local Government Housing Development and Town and Country Planning Committee Chairman Jagdeep Singh Deo said among the SOPs flouted by the operators include not using hand sanitizers as well as insufficient level of social distancing observed. Now, Jagdeep said for now authorities will continue to advise the operators if they still do not comply, then the authorities will not hesitate to close down the premises. Now, since the RMCO was enforced, the Pulau Pinang City Council, or MBPP, checked 709 out of 1,106 barbershops and beauty salons, while the Seberang Perai City Council, or MBSP, only checked 58 out of 606 premises so far within its locality. Now, the general SOP compliance of premises under the purview of both MBPP and MBSP is consistent, with MBPP inspecting 163,285 premises with 99.66% compliance, while MBSP inspecting 270,573 premises with 99.23% compliance since the MCO took effect on 18th March. Meanwhile, the tourists flocking the state over the weekend, Jagdeep reminded them to strictly follow the SOP while they were visiting the state. Now, this comes after some renowned eateries experience high number of customers, making it tough for them to observe social distancing. Coming up, AirAsia to add more flights by July.
Inilah senario yang berlaku sekarang. Kanak-kanak dan remaja berumur antara 5 hingga 17 tahun perlu aktif sekurang-kurangnya 60 minit sehari. Pilihan di tangan anda. Jom aktif!
And the news continues. Now, the Public Accounts Committee, or PAC, trial involving Dato' Seri Najib Tun Razak and former One Malaysia Development Berhad 1MDB Chief Executive Arul Kanda Kandasamy has been postponed as one of the former Prime Minister's lawyers had to undergo a COVID-19 test. Now, Kuala Lumpur High Court Justice Muhammad Zaini Mazlan adjourned the trial today pending the test result for one of the lawyers in Dato Sri Najib's defense team, which is expected to be known tomorrow at 10 a.m. Now, Dato Sri Najib's counsel, Tan Sri Muhammad Shafi Abdullah, informed the court earlier that the lawyer had a high fever and cough in the morning and took a COVID-19 test at a clinic. Now, Tan Sri Muhammad Shafi said he too would undergo a COVID-19 test for good measure, saying it would be his 6th time being tested, adding how he was the only person from the firm to have come into contact with the lawyer while the latter appeared unwell. Additionally, an application seeking to disqualify Dato Sri Gopal Sri Ram as a prosecutor on the case following an affidavit released by former Attorney General Tan Sri Muhammad Apandi Ali was submitted by the defense to the court. But Justice Muhammad Zaini then set 7th August as the hearing date for the application and instructed for the trial to continue tomorrow morning pending the outcome of the COVID-19 tests. On June 10th, Tan Sri Muhammad Apandi posted a Facebook post containing allegations regarding a purported January 2018 meeting with Dato Sri Gopal and claims that the latter had then allegedly conveyed a message for Dato Sri Najib to be arrested. But Dato Sri Gopal has reportedly declined to comment. Tourism Malaysia is set to boost its domestic tourism campaign to revive local tourism industry that has been affected for the past few months. Now, Tourism Malaysia East Region Director Hafiz Hazin said this following several reports of some tourism key players that had suffered huge losses due to the COVID-19 infection. Said the same situation happened to several chalet operators in Terengganu and Taman Negara who had to shut down their business, causing them to lose their main source of income. In order to overcome the situation, Tourism Malaysia is engaging with the industry players to get the best feedbacks and suggestions on how to revive the industry.
It was badly affected. Ramai pengusaha pelancongan yang orang kata sekarang ni hidup segan mati tak maulah. Okay, so berdasarkan apa rasa tanggungjawab tu, kami di Tourism Malaysia kita perlu memainkan peranan untuk membantu para industri pemain industri di Malaysia ni untuk terus survive dan juga dalam masa sama kita cuba mempromosikan pelancongan domestik untuk memastikan kelangsungan hidup para pemain industri ini. Seperti yang kita tahu, para pemain industri bukan hanya pihak hotel ataupun pihak pengusaha pelancongan seperti travel agency, tetapi juga pemandu-pemandu pelancong yang terlibat dalam food and beverage industry.
Well, low-cost airlines Air Asia Group Berhad, which is currently running at full seat capacity, plans to add more flights by July. The Group Chief Executive Officer Tony Fernandez said the demand for air travel has increased following the implementation of the Recovery Movement Control Order, RMCO, which allows interstate travels. Now, as for the frequency, Tony said it will depend on demand. Now, at the moment, Air Asia have resumed flights within Malaysia, but it is also hoping that it will be opening flights to other countries soon. Well, it said this at a press conference after launching Air Asia's new business-to-business or B2B e-commerce platform, Our Farm in Serdang. Well, small and medium enterprises, or SMEs, regardless of their size and industry, have the power to effect change on the way the world does business and even influencing multinationals to follow the lead. Now, quoting DDCAP Group Managing Director Stella Cox, London-based independent economist Mushtaq Parker said SMEs are the backbone of the national economies and collectively their actions are hugely significant. And elaborating further on the matter, Mushtaq said SMEs' change in behavior likely can't shift its entire industry, but collectively, any changes in behavior, whether by changing the way they do business with their clients or where they source their products or how they treat their employees, can have positive impacts which can ripple across industries and geographies. The Cox also said many SMEs will look to their own peers for leadership as proven results and outcomes from actions taken by peers were easier to identify and more applicable as relevant relevant reference source. Now, DDCAP Group operates as a key provider of Shari-compliant products, asset classes and instruments in both the primary and secondary markets. Meanwhile, the Malaysia External Trade Development Corporation, MATRADE, has introduced a Market Development Grant, or MDG, guideline for online export promotions in view of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, under the new guideline, small and medium-sized enterprises, or SMEs, may claim for certain expenses for their participation in virtual trade events to promote exports starting from 1st July this year. Now, in a statement released today, the agency said eligible companies can apply for a reimbursable grant for activities under two categories, namely virtual international trade fairs and virtual trade promotion missions, where business-to-business or B2B meetings are organized. Now, introduced in 2002, the MDG aims to assist some exporters in promoting Malaysian products and services, as well as enhance product branding in the international markets. Now, Chief Executive Officer Dato' Wan Latif Wan Musa said the pandemic has impacted the way businesses are conducted worldwide, and leveraging digital platforms has become a new normal. Now, he said travel restrictions imposed by many countries around the world to curb the spread of COVID-19 has expedited digitalization of businesses for the purpose of export promotions. Dato' Wan Latif also hopes that SMEs will actively participate in virtual business events and ensure that their presence in the international market continues to be felt to propel the nation's economic growth as Malaysia enters into economic recovery mode. Now, since it was launched in 2002, the MDG has benefited 23,457 companies. Coming up in sports, badminton. Player Chevon Lai back for training. Now, national mixed doubles player Chevon Lai is fit and ready to rejoin her teammates in training at the Academy Badminton Malaysia, or ABM, in Bukit Jalil after recovering from dengue. Now, Chevon, who is under the Road to Tokyo, or RTT program, arrived at the ABM yesterday for a COVID-19 test. And after spending 2 weeks recovering from dengue, the 27-year-old just can't wait to get back.
Memang excited, like, sebab dah berapa bulan tak jumpa kawan semua, tak training, tak masuk court kan. So feeling ni macam dah refresh balik, nak balik court sudah. Dan sebelum ni tournament semua dia schedule sangat tight kan. So masa tu letih sikit. Tapi saya rasa ini 3 bulan dah refresh semula untuk balik training.
The Badminton Association of Malaysia, BAM, have not finalized any tournaments for their players, as the national body are more focused on getting their trainees back in top condition. And local cyclists can breathe a huge sigh of relief now that Human Voyage Malaysia's Sendirian Berhad has given an assurance that it will settle the 2020 Tour de Langkawi, or LTDL, prize money owed to all winners by 11th July. Malaysia National Cycling Federation, or MNCF President Dato' Abu Samah Abdul Wahab said representatives from the company had given the assurance after a meeting with Youth and Sport Minister Dato' Sri Rizal American Naina American in Putrajaya last week.
So you see,
Dato' Abu Samah said the Human Voyage representatives promised to settle the payment amounting to 823,000 ringgit to all the winners, including the international riders, by that date. He added if they fail to settle the payment, the organizing rights given to them by the Youth and Sports Ministry until next year may be rescinded. Human Voyage had previously claimed that the delay in paying the 2020 LTDL winners was due to the implementation of the Movement Control Order, MCO, to curb the spread of COVID-19. Meanwhile, Dato' Abu Samah also confirmed that several cycling championships planned for this year, including the Tour de Femina and Tour de Peninsula, had been postponed to next year due to time constraint. And with that item, we conclude this evening's News on 2. In our top story, preschools, kindergartens to reopen on 1st July. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon for more updates on the latest happenings around the world. I'm Amin Carlos. Stay tuned to TV2 and have a pleasant evening.